Greetings, my name is Chamomile and this is an exploration of the entire galaxy sector by sector. Today, we're looking at the Colundra Sector on the edge of dark space in 12th Cerulean Spear Command. There are a lot of alleged species homeworlds out in Colundra, but the only confirmed species are the four-armed Zexto of planet Troikan, a species you might recognize from Gasgano of the Golden Age of pod racing. The Zexto live in the thin band of habitable forest that encircles the tidally locked planet of Troikan, with a frozen wasteland of eternal night on one end and a boiling wasteland of eternal day on the other. In between, in the arboreal zone of eternal twilight, is the only place with livable temperatures. Luckily, this is a planet we're talking about, so this narrow strip is like 150 miles wide. The Zexto are not to be confused with the Quermians, a genetically modified variant species created by the mad geneticists of Arcania. Those guys live over in the Nilgard sector, so odds are that video will be coming out pretty soon if you want to know more about long-necked King Yariel Poof. Also living in the Colundra sector are the avian Gazo species of Dragor 3. I don't know why these guys didn't get their own sector. There's not a whole lot of information on their culture as a whole, and when individual Gazo show up, they're always living on another planet, usually Troikan. Maybe Dragor 3 is another name for Troikan? Species home systems often have unique names for every planet in addition to the standard names based on a named star, like the most densely populated world over in the Galov sector is the third planet of the Opoku system, which you could call Opoku 3, but which is actually called Gamor, as in Gamorrean pigs. Maybe Troikan is the proper name of Dragor 3, and there's two native species on it. Colundra Sector is allegedly home to not one but two primitive planets conquered by the Empire and later liberated with the help of the Rebel Alliance, Kashun and Kruskan. While this kind of thing did happen at all, and Colundra Sector's position at the very fringe of the galaxy made it relatively more likely for a primitive species to be discovered this late into galactic history than in, say, the heart of the nearby Tion cluster, Colundra Sector is also the end of the Prelemian trade route, the very first hyperroute the Republic blazed out to the Outer Rim. Colundra Sector is one of the oldest Republic sectors, so I'm guessing that at least one and probably both of these two planets aren't actually home to one of these caveman species people love to tell stories about. More likely they were home to pretty ordinary rebel cells, and they might even be completely made up. Kruskan's story is especially far-fetched. Apparently it was colonized by the Republic and then just forgotten about before becoming home to a force cult led by someone named Regera Giron, who then enslaved a Republic exploration vessel when it rediscovered the planet in the Old Republic era. This isn't the Negs or the Deep Core, in fact it's pretty much the opposite. Here at the edge of the galaxy, gravity wells are thinning out to absolutely nothing, and hyperspace routes are extremely durable, requiring almost no maintenance at all. You don't just lose track of a planet out here. Son Vilmari is a planet whose native species, the Panpreneur, look a lot like Mon Calamari, and this might actually just be a far-flung Mon Calamari colony with some spacer myth-making attached to it. On the other hand, the Togruta and the Twi'lek look pretty similar, but that's by pure coincidence. Back on the first hand, the Togruta and the Twi'lek's homeworlds are way far away from each other, but the Panpreneur are only 2 sectors away from Calamari space. I don't have the credits to go and check, but I'm guessing these guys are just Mon Calamari and spaces are telling tales again. You might recognize Barton 4 as that one ice planet where Clone Commander Mayday and his squad had a bad time right after the Clone Wars. This isn't a major world, but it was in a well-received holoshow, so I know someone will find that interesting. The supply depot there was important-ish to keeping the Tion cluster, former capital of the CIS, surrounded, but it wasn't like a major supply depot. You know, Colmex and Liana further down the Prelemian trade route were more important for that. The big story of the Colundra sector, though, is the Stark hyperspace war in the late Republic, about a decade before the blockade of Naboo. The Stark Commercial Combine, despite the name, is a pirate alliance who also took on significant mercenary bounty hunting and assassination work in the Tion periphery. During a Bacta shortage, the Trade Federation made a killing shipping Bacta from Thifera in the Trailing Core out to the Outer Rim, and the Stark Combine made a killing stealing Bacta from the Trade Federation after it reached the Outer Rim but before it was unloaded. The Trade Federation escalated the armaments on their ships and the size of their battle-droid marine forces to defend themselves from the pirate raids. The Republic sent a Jedi delegation led by Plo Koon to try and negotiate an end to the conflict, but negotiations broke down, at least partly because of the machinations of Ranulf Tarkin, the senator of Iriadu who was hoping to re-establish the Republic Navy using a crisis like this one. Whatever Tarkin's hopes, what the Republic actually had was Plo Koon, a few other Jedi, and a featherweight infantry security force who didn't have Plex missiles, heavy blasters, or other squad or platoon-level support weapons. Due to the political clusterfuck that happened when the bumbling manipulations of Ranulph Tarkin encountered those of Trade Federation leader Newt Gunray, the Republic security forces under Tarkin, the battle droids of the Trade Federation, the pirates of the Stark Combine, and Plo Koon and the other Jedi traded off alliance with one another a couple of times in battles across both Troika and the arid planet Util, a minor world whose monarch was, fun fact, bounty hunted by Bosk a few decades later. After several weeks of conflict across the Colundra Sector, the Stark Combine was eventually smashed to pieces, and Tarkin had mostly humiliated himself. The anti-militarist Senator Valorum of Coruscant got himself elected Chancellor, and that was it for any hopes of restoring the Republic Navy until the invasion of Naboo 8 years later. Something that was facilitated by the war with the Stark Combine, which provided the Trade Federation the excuse they needed to, at Darth Sidious's direction, massively expand their battle droid forces. So, by fucking up negotiations really badly, Ranulph Tarkin justified the Trade Federation in maintaining a large battle droid army indefinitely, which they used to invade Naboo, which, along with his visions, led Sifo Dyas to unwittingly help Palpatine commission the clone army from Kamino, which became the Grand Army of the Republic. Just as planned.